So a while ago, I made this video where I debunked G-Dog's prison. Well, probably don't know who G-Dog is, so it's this guy. But you see, this video
Let's debunk it now.
is old, and you see, he actually made Command Block Prison 2.0, and he said we can debunk it. Now, I've only watched a little bit of it, so I haven't seen the full thing, so let's debunk it. The debunk corner is right over on the top. Let's get into it.
Command Block Prison 2.0. And it is the hardest prison ever built in Minecraft. This has some of the coolest puzzles I have ever seen. Stay to the very end to see all of them and to see if I can escape, and enjoy the video. I spawned inside of a small bedrock box. I was enclosed and there was lava all around me, and I was inside of a giant room with a giant command block at the center. I looked behind me and saw a sign that said last and an arrow pointing to the left. I didn't know if this was pointing to the wall or something else, but it was definitely a hint at something I would need later. I decided to break it because some of the simplest items can have a big effect. I didn't look to an F5, but didn't see anything on the box that I was in. After that, I started clicking through the lava and actually found the chest with an ender pearl, and I was about to use it to glitch out of the prison, but then that's when I realized I didn't know if this prison was 1 block or 10 blocks thick, and I didn't want to suffocate, so I just
likely 1 block, because there was a sign pointing there. Now, I might be completely wrong. I can't remember if the signs in prisons like this in Minecraft tell the truth or not. I think they normally do, but I don't know. So that might be, I'm not sure, so it doesn't count as a full debunk. So let's just continue.
decided to play it safe and pearl to the center and get out of the box. Now that I was outside of my small bedrock box, I had a few moments to breathe and relax. Since the floor was made out of lava, it would be hard to traverse through it. But then that's when I saw a sign that said second/third key. I didn't really know what it meant, but then that's when I saw it. While exploring, I saw a sign with the word exit on it. I instantly decided to run up the staircase until I was inside of a room. This room was very weird looking. This is called an infinity room. While it is just maps, I looked down and tried breaking one of them, but then realized that this could be over 100 feet deep since I wasn't able to break the bottom one. There were glass panes of.
You see, since he probably, I don't know how he made it so one of them is filled, but you see, he used block displays. And if he would have gotten all of the signs, he would be able to throw the signs at them to see what would happen. And if he runs out, then, well, yeah. But that is, I think that should count as debunk number 1.
Above it, and the sign that said one will fall, use your keys. I was assuming that this would be sort of a glass ridge game, but I had no keys whatsoever or hints to what this would be, and there was really no way for me to know which was safe, so I decided to skip it for now. When I got back downstairs, I saw a sign that said first key. There were a lot of rooms around me, but I decided to start here since it said it was the first one. I looked around me and saw a tall bedrock wall that wasn't able to be jumped over since I didn't have any items. I then saw signs on the wall. I decided to look in third-person FOV and saw a dropper on the other side. I was assuming there was a valuable item, but then that's when I looked at the signs on the wall. They were random numbers, and I could be mistaken, but they actually looked like they were coordinates. Since I had no better guess on what they might be, I decided to travel to them, and it turned out they were right outside the room. And when I walked to the coordinates, it turned out there was a hidden chest under the lava containing a boat. This will be very helpful and allow me to get over a bedrock wall and avoid fall damage in the future. After getting back to room 1, I decided that I was going to use my boat to get over. I could have used my ender pearl, but I might need it for later in an area where I can't use a boat, so I decided to use the boat. And I even landed it first try. After making it up first try, I went up above the ledge and saw that there was a dropper. When I opened the dropper, there was a piece of paper that said "right" and 9 iron nuggets. Now, I knew that
He didn't just, like, there are so many items that he can use to test it, like, just those iron ingots are enough to just test all of them, I'm sure. And like if he gets all of them wrong with guessing, that's just bad luck. So yeah, that's a oof. That's still part of one debunk. But yeah, that would be what I would do in that prison if I was there. I would use it to test the glass, so let's continue.
9 iron nuggets could be crafted to make an iron ingot, but I didn't know what right meant. Was it referring to the glass
I
ridge that I
how
saw
to use just some footage that's out of the prison because it keeps confusing me. Okay, I'm gonna continue.
earlier or something else? I didn't really know, but I decided to break the dropper to see if there was anything behind it. After breaking the dispenser and seeing that there was nothing behind it, I made my way back in my boat, collected it, and then made my way back into the main room. After looking at the giant command block that was above me, I decided I was going to go check out room 4 for some reason next. Look, I don't know why, okay? I was tired when I filmed this because the last video did buns.
Oh, oof. Oof. Oh, I forgot to enable sound.
Room 4, I realized something weird about it. There was a really tall bedrock wall. In fact, it was so high that I literally couldn't even see over it, even when using third-person
Use your
FOV.
ender.
I could have used my ender pearl, but I didn't know if I would have gotten stuck, and I might need it later for something else, so I decided not to risk it, and just come back to room 4 later. On my way
Why
back
did
from
you
room
use your ender pearl? That might be debunk number 2. Maybe it might change because maybe he would use it later.
4, I realized that there had been 2 rooms that I hadn't explored yet. The second/third room, and a room without a sign, which was kind of weird. And gosh,
Look
was
at
it
all of these items. This is just. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry. I'm just.
weird, because when I looked up in that room, there were 4 sheep dangling from the ceiling. Now, it looked like on the wall there were arrows, and I was assuming that I would need a bow. Whether it was to kill the sheep or do something else, I didn't know. I also saw a crafting table on the wall. It could be hiding something behind it, but if I were to break it, I wouldn't be able to get it back, and I might need it for later, so I decided to keep it there. There was also a piece of flint on the wall. I didn't have anything to use these items for, and the flint seemed kind of pointless, but I still took them anyways to make sure I had everything I would need for this prison, and decided that I was also going to come back to this room later. The only room that I hadn't explored yet was the second/third room. There was a little bit of parkour I had to do to get up there, but it was nothing too challenging, and I made my way up with a breeze. I noticed something about this room. This was the only one with the hallway leading to it that wasn't directly connected to the main room. When I got into the room, it appeared that there was some iron bar parkour to get up to a ledge above, and when I tried to get past the tall bedrock wall in the center, I actually wasn't able to because, well, it was a 1.5 block jump. You see, I wasn't able to place my boat because it's a 1x1 hole, and boats don't fit in there. And again, I could use my ender pearl, but also I didn't know if I needed it here, so honestly, I was actually kind of stuck.
So you see.
I mean, I'd already explored literally every single room. I'd even explored.
I don't know, but I. You know what? Never mind.
The exit room. I really didn't want to have to use my ender pearl here, but I was really starting to.
That's just. I'm thinking. Hold up. I'm thinking. Oh yeah, it's not simple.
Think that that might be my only choice, except it wasn't. Back when I was in the room with all the sheep, there was a crafting table
You can use the sheep to get wool.
on the wall. Now, I know what you're thinking. What am I actually able to craft with what's in my inventory? Well, I was actually surprised that I hadn't noticed it, but I was actually able to make a flint and steel. Well, first, let's talk about how. I can use the 9 iron nuggets in my inventory to craft an iron ingot, then combine that with flint. But a lot of you are probably wondering, why do I need a flint and steel? Well, if you didn't know this, Minecraft can give you momentum if you take damage. So, if we make a flint and steel and light the bedrock on fire, which by the way never runs out, sort of like netherrack, well, we can get a momentum boost and actually make this 1.5 block jump with no mods or commands whatsoever. So, that's exactly what I did. I made it up on top of the bedrock ledge and didn't take nearly as much damage as I thought I would. Now that I was able to go down, I had a few moments to relax. This next area was also a little weird. I was able to get closer to the iron bar parkour, but I actually wasn't able to get onto the entrance. I decided to check out the dropper that was on the wall. In it were 2
Oh, look, that's some planks, meaning that you can literally skip the glass. Oh my god, he doesn't even know what the keys are. Is he being so dumb on purpose just so he can make the video longer so it would get more watch hours? Well, I guess he does want to get monetized. And I do want to see his gaming setup. It's just, I feel like you should think about this. I feel like you should at least not be kind of like Siwa Gaming. I don't know. Not be like Siwa Gaming, where he just happens to do it the intended way. And I feel like he also built this. And if he built this, then I don't know, maybe he didn't build this. I am just going to continue.
2 wood planks and 3 string. I then broke it, hoping something would be hidden behind it, but once again there was nothing there, but still a good idea to break everything to make sure I have all the resources I might need. Next, I went up to the platform to try to get up to the iron bar parkour. I tried using my 2 wood planks to get up there, since I was actually hoping and thinking that that was what it was made for, but even then, I wasn't able to.
Are you dumb? Use your boat! Are you dumb? That is debunk number 2. Are you dumb?
Place my boat up there or make the jump, so once again, I was kind of stuck and not sure on what to do.
Okay.
I did have my ender pearl with me, and I could have used it, but again, like always, I wasn't sure if I would need it for this part or not, so I decided to break my 2 wood planks.
And if not, then look, flint and steel. So you can use your flint and so if you're lucky, then you can place flint and steel to boost yourself a little bit up. And then while that would probably burn pretty fast, you see, you'd get up using the boat, and you would only lose both of your planks. So yeah, debunk number 2. Debunk number 2 confirmed.
And use my string and try to think of something I might need to do. After thinking for a little longer on how I was supposed to get up,
unless you don't even need to do that, I don't know. I don't feel like testing it.
There, I actually realized that there was a crafting recipe that I could do this whole time, but never had. See, earlier I tried to use my oak planks as blocks, but what if I turned them into sticks? Hear me out. If I turn them into sticks and use the 3 string that I have, I can actually make a.
Or you can make ladders. Oh my gosh! Genius play here. Debunk number 3. I know, so crazy, right? He's being bad on purpose, just so he can. No, I'll just continue.
Bow. Then using the arrows in the sheep room, I can actually shoot the sheep from where I am, collect the wool, and use it to tower up onto the little area, and then use the iron bar parkour to get up to the main platform. I decided I was going to do this method, and hopefully this will be the right way. After making sure that using my 2 oak planks wasn't high enough to just hit the sheep and conserve materials, I went over to the crafting table and crafted my bow. After that, I got below the first sheep and shot it, but it didn't die. I had already wasted an arrow and the sheep hadn't died. I would need to kill all of the other ones with 1 shot. I shot the sheep again and it did die. Then I got below the next.
Use that 1 wool to place it, and then use your bow. Debunk number 4. Oh my gosh, he's being bad at this on purpose, so he can get people to watch the full video, so he can get monetized. But also, I don't want him to get monetized unless he's actually stupid and didn't notice these 4 debunks. Let's continue.
Next one and shot it. This time, the second one died in 1 shot. Then I did the same thing with the third one, and it also died in 1 shot, but I had no more arrows, and I couldn't shoot the 4th sheep, so I would just have to deal with 3 wool. After walking down the long hallway, I used the fire to get back onto the ledge I had before. Then I used my 3 pieces of wool to get onto the ledge I hadn't been able to get on earlier. I used my boat to carry me the.
Yeah, and W planks. Oh my, I don't even know what to say. Does that still count? So it's 3.5. 3.5. Yes, 3.5.
The rest of the way up and then began the iron bar parkour, but then
Collect your boats. What is wrong with you?
that's when it happened. I was on half a heart, and this challenge almost ended just like that. It was a good reminder to be careful and take it slower. But while I'm doing this iron bar parkour,
Another 0.5 debunks. He didn't eat soap. Yes, 4 debunks. That's only a 0.5 debunk. Okay.
I want to let you know something. I will admit to you, I have probably made countless mistakes that I haven't even noticed, so I want you to make a debunk. What that basically is you filming a YouTube video and saying the mistakes I made and the things I missed and things that I could have done better. And if you do that, I will feature all of your debunks in one single live stream. That's right, your video will be in my live stream, so be sure to debunk this video and be sure to rewatch it if you enjoy it, and enjoy the rest of the video. When I looked inside the dispenser, I saw a piece of paper that said left. It was a lot like the other one I had found, but instead of saying right, it said left. I also found some golden carrots though, which did let me regenerate and was a nice little perk of getting up here. I parkoured my way down and decided I was going to figure out what these pieces of paper meant before I went to the 4th/5th room. After collecting all my blocks from the previous room, I thought about what the pieces of paper could mean. They could be directions for the glass bridge that I found at the very beginning of this video, but that didn't make sense.
Of course! Of course! That's what it means. That's what it's for. And remember the first debunk, you could have just used the blocks or just used the paper. If you didn't have enough blocks, you're just bad at guessing. No, it's just I feel like he is 0.5. 4.5 debunks so far.
Why had I gone through rooms and only found 2 pieces of paper? There were only 4 rooms over here, and the sheep room didn't even have one. Let's hope that the 4th/5th room has something better for us. When I walked back into the 4th room, I saw a giant tall bedrock wall. I wasn't able to get over it using my wool and wasn't high enough to place my boat. The literal only thing in my inventory I could use...
Again. What's this again? 5.5. Okay, it's just 5. I'll give him the one with the paper key because he probably will figure it out later. But yeah, so far 5.
To get over it was my ender pearl. I really had been trying not to use this at this point, but I had no other option. I used my pearl and was sure to pearl on top of the wall so that way I wouldn't be stuck on the other side, and then I placed down my boat so I would be able to get back up. I then looked inside the dispenser and saw yet another sheet. This time, the piece of paper said right left. I was so confused on what these meant, so I decided I was going to fully understand it next.
It's 2 for the last.
Hear me out on this. Each room has a sign with a number on it, except the sheep room. Each room with the sign in front of it had a piece of paper. The one room without a sign doesn't have any paper though. That's leading me to believe that the paper has something to do with the signs. But then I thought to myself, what if the number on the sign was the order I jumped on the glass bridge, and the paper was my key? Take this for example. The sign in front of the first room said first key. On that piece of paper, it said right. Then, in the room that had the sign titled 2nd/3rd key, well, it had one word on that piece of paper, left. What if that's where I jump? For the 2nd and 3rd jump, I go left. And then this room, it has 2 directions, right and left. What if on my 4th jump, I go right, then on my 5th...
How is this some crazy math problem? This is obvious.
I go left. It was starting to make sense. The signs and the pieces of paper were connected. The paper was my key. The only thing left to do now was to use it. After collecting all of my extra items from the other rooms, I made my way to the glass bridge. I was sure to break every single sign and other dispenser in another room so I can
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see how many items he has. Yeah, he has
maximize the amount of blocks that I had. I then broke the stairs that led up to the glass bridge to make sure there was nothing under them. There was nothing under them, but it was still a good idea to break them because you always want to make sure you have everything for the next room. But without further ado, it was time to make my first jump. The first sheet of paper said right, so that would mean I would have to go to the right.
This is fake, cause in the beginning,
Very weird looking. This is called an infinity room. While it is just maps, I looked down and tried breaking.
he didn't. So those were all block displays. This is fake. This video is fake. He faked this video. Okay, me as a fellow content creator, I do fake some videos, but only shorts, not long form videos. And I don't want to be like, oh yes, this is definitely real, because let me just go to a video that I made that's fake, but I'm not trying to hide it. So this one. You see, my brain died. How in the world did you do it? And then I admitted how it's fake. Okay? But he's not admitting that it's fake, so that will count as plus 2 debunks. Plus 2. Meaning that so far he has a total of 7 debunks. 7 debunks. Wow. 7 debunks. He has a total of 7 debunks. Let's continue.
If I was wrong about this, I would fall to my death. I made the leap of faith, and luckily, the glass below me didn't disappear. I decided to break the glass to my left in case I needed to come back. That way I wouldn't get confused on which path to.
Wait, they're both. Okay. Now I don't know what to say. That's just going to count as. Nah, you think that would count as the one fake? Nope. 9 debunks. I am so sorry. Yet, whenever I catch you faking this video, it will sadly count as 2 debunks. So far, 9 debunks.
Then I decided I was going to make my next jump. The piece of paper had said left. This was a really big jump and I was going to have to get enough momentum for it. I got back, got my momentum, and made the jump. Since the sheet of paper didn't have any other instructions, I was assuming it meant left again. So that's what I did. I made another leap of faith and went on the left side of the glass, and luckily didn't die. I was sure to break every piece of glass.
Those work. Oh my gosh, okay, yeah.
In case I needed to come back, and so I wouldn't be confused. Then the next sheet of paper. It said right and then left, so that's exactly what I did. So then I backed up to the very edge of the glass and then jumped. I luckily made the jump and didn't fall to my doom. Finally, I had to make the jump to the left, and after backing up and getting enough momentum, I took a leap of faith and made the jump. But then that's when I noticed a massive problem. There was still one more jump, but I had no more sheets of paper left in my inventory.
Use the wall. 10 deblank. Since that fake does mean that, yeah. Wait.
But then I thought back to myself. At the very beginning of this prison, there had been a sign that said last and an arrow pointing to the left.
Oh.
But it couldn't be. It was the only thing that made sense. It hadn't been giving hints at anything else, and this seemed to be the last puzzle. So, without further ado, I decided to trust the sign and make my final leap of faith.
I would definitely feel that jump. Why did he?
The sign had been correct. I had successfully made the jump to the correct piece of glass, allowing me to beat the glass ridge, but something
You know what?
was weird. See, I had thought the whole time that this was the very last puzzle, but I didn't see any daylight whatsoever. I had not yet escaped the command block prison 2.0, and there most likely was one last trap. The next area was really weird. It says when you push the button, you'll have 1 minute, and I opened the dispenser, and there were wheat seeds in it. This was a random sort of words and items, but when I walked into the next room, things got insane. There was a set of stairs leading up to what I thought might be the last room, but when I walked up them, well, this was unlike anything I had ever seen. There was a giant command block at the center of the room, surrounded by multiple smaller command blocks, generating a giant galaxy around me.
If you're wondering how he did that, he used the green screen. He told me on his. He said it.
It looked like I was in some sort of ginormous glass box, surrounded by this ginormous galaxy the command block was generating. This was definitely the last room. I walked around and was on some sort of glass roof with a bedrock roof surrounding it, but then I saw a bedrock wall. It looked like that might be the door to escape the prison, but I still had no clue what this puzzle was. I looked closer at the glass area. It looked almost as if there was a smaller maze inside of it, but I really couldn't decide or figure out what it was. The best chance I had of beating this was to push the button. The second that I pushed the button, a chicken came out of it, and then I realized what I would have to do. I was going to have to guide this chicken to the very end of the maze before time ran out. There was only 50 seconds left. 40 seconds. 30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. After I barely made the chicken get onto the pressure plate, the door opened up to the very exit of the command block prison. If I had been any later, the command block would have erased me from reality. I jumped out of the top story and landed a boat clutch at the very bottom, then took my boat and paddled into the ocean, escaping the command.
He just casually did a boat clutch. That means that since he just casually did that boat clutch, then I'm gonna get rid of those 3 fake debunks. He deserves it. Like in his last one, he did a final clutch, and that was just a water bucket clutch. That's easy, but a boat clutch. Okay. Thank you so much if you made it this far. Again, all credit goes to the G-Dogs. Yes, he did fake it, and I know some of my debunks were wrong. Luckily, I did notice that during editing. The last one, I literally stopped in the middle of it. So yeah, thanks for watching if you made it this far. Bye.